So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. So you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
There we go. All right, guys. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing tonight? Tito, Tell Williams, Anya, Rags to Riches. Good evening. Jacob, what's up? Nickel or Dime, how you doing? While I'm waiting on Mediocre, let me just read a couple comments here. Jacob says, Cohen promised no dilution for the rest of the year. Kitty squeeze time. Maybe so, Jacob. Mediocre and I were talking about that earlier. So no more dilution for GameStop through the end of January. Let's get Mediocre in here. I see him in the back room now. What's going on? Can you hear me?
What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you good. So kind of Mediocre, what I wanted to do tonight, I have this spreadsheet. Let me share it with you guys that I just want to update based on GameStop's latest earnings. Share. So we're just going to update some of the numbers on here, and we can chat about their earnings or whatever else people have on their mind. And I'm going to put the comments up here so you can kind of read them too while I'm updating this Mediocre. We did have a chance to watch the earnings call. I'm just kidding. There was no earnings call. we had a chance to read through the earnings release, the statement from GameStop, and briefly look through the 10Q, but I haven't put these numbers in my spreadsheet here. So let's kind of see what we got as far as what I'm looking at. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. How's that sound, Mediocre?
Sounds good to me. I'm just still working on getting set up, but I'm ready whenever you are, buddy.
All right.
Hold on. You see my green screen?
Yeah, I see your green screen.
Hang on a minute. What's going on with this?
Let me find the best format of how we can look at this.
It's supposed to be
probably this one. I wish we were down underneath it, but we'll get the point. I can scroll so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So most of the info that I have on here comes from the income statement and details in the 10Q. I have some extra things in here that get computed, and there'll be a couple of items from the balance sheet also, and then we'll kind of talk about the numbers. Basically what I saw, Mediocre, well, let's just plug in the revenue numbers and kind of start from there. How about that?
Sure.
And let's see, while I'm pulling that up on the 10Q over here, let's see what other comments we got. Rich Smith, what's up? Jim Eagle says GME is basically a $4.5 billion savings account with a side business that loses money. Yeah, at the moment, I wouldn't disagree, Jim. Kevin says if everyone who owns stock in AMC with $4 billion in debt bought GameStop with $4 billion in cash. Yeah, I don't look at any stock, and I know Mediocre doesn't either, is competition. Like this whole AMC versus GameStop thing. There's thousands of stocks out there. There's not any competition between one or the other. And if you're listening to anybody who tells you to invest just in one stock, I'd say you're listening to a fool. Pick good companies with growing revenue and growing profits. And then if you want to speculate on the side on some other stocks, then you do you. Did I sum that up how you would say it, Mediocre?
Absolutely, except I'm really competitive. Just not about stocks because it's all about making money.
Cheers, amigo.
Cheers.
So I had some numbers plugged in here for Q3, not because they were my forecasts, just to make some predictions for myself about where we were going to end up. Let's see. I had given them a very generous revenue and gross margin, and this was saying 12 cents. I didn't publish any prediction for GameStop because who knows? So don't pay attention to anything on here. Let's just plug in numbers and see where we're at. So net sales was 860.3 million. That was down from 1.07 billion same quarter last year. And let me get the hardware and software and collectibles numbers here from down a little bit lower. Bullish Citizen says GME looks good. The chart seemed to like the numbers in after hours, that's for sure. All right, hardware and accessories 417.4. Software was 271.8, and collectibles 171.1. Interesting thing that I'm seeing as I look at collectibles, because I know there was a lot of hoopla, a lot of hopium pushing that because of PSA cards that the revenue and profits were going to be much higher this quarter. And basically what I'm seeing is that the collectibles was still down in terms of raw dollars from same quarter a year ago. Now you could say that's because they have less stores, and I wouldn't disagree. But let's see how it worked out percentage-wise. That's not what I want to do. I need a formula here. Hang on.
Get to work, Tony. You should have
I'm
this
working.
spreadsheet
Hang on.
done. Yeah, I know you want to do it live. I'm only busting you.
M9. All right. So this is going to be R9. So hardware 48%, software 31.5%, and collectibles 19.89%. And that is a increase as I look at Q3 2023. It was 13%. So as a percentage of their overall revenue, it is up. Revenue growth rate. Let me make sure this formula is correct. R9 minus L9. No, I want, yeah, L9. That's right. No, I want M. This work I usually do not on a live stream.
And no, that's why I was ragging on you.
Yeah. But I thought it'd be
You're
fun
doing
just
all right. Don't worry
I
about
thought it'd be fun to work through it together and answer some chat while we're doing it.
You're good. I know. I figured.
R9 minus M9 divided by that is not correct. Oh, I don't want 9. Mediocre, while we're to help me fill the error while we're doing this, what
Yeah, you do
what
that.
were
I'm
your
gonna
general
talk.
thoughts about the earnings?
No, my thoughts on the earnings. I don't know. I mean, the majority of their earnings came from their interest payments that they were collecting from all their cash, Tony. That's what I noticed. Their operating wasn't too great, but you know,
I see
it
what the
went up.
problem is here. I have a wrong number in here for my Q3 revenue.
That's what I remember about the call. That stood out to me.
That most of their income came from from interest payments,
Yeah,
right?
interest, yeah, on their cash. You know, at least they're collecting interest on the cash, but it'd be nice if they could do something with the cash, make more than just an interest payment. And as you know, when we were talking earlier, when I brought up MSTR, which I had a phenomenal week last weekend, um, how they're taking their money and investing it in Bitcoin, and I'm not telling GameStop what to do or anything, but you know, that's an interesting thing that what's his name? Michael what?
Sailor.
Sailor, yeah, that's it. I was gonna call him Barry, but I know that's not the same dude. He's really big on that. So
All right, so I got the correct column here now. So it was a 20% drop in total revenue. Cost of revenue, back to GameStop's income statement. Let's see how they did in terms of cost of revenue. Cost of sales 603.1. Wow, I had that number exactly correct. Look at that. It was
yeah,
603.1. I had 603 in there.
nice.
Gross profit 257.20. Gross margin, if that is correct, yeah, 29.9%. Is that correct? I'm going to double check it against their 8K.
Robin, not according to Michael Saylor, it's not. He's buying.
What did he say? Read out the questions so I can listen in while I'm
Uh,
watching. My eyes are elsewhere.
Robin says too late to buy Bitcoin now. Should have done it before.
Oh yeah, I keep on seeing these headlines. Mediocre saying, is Bitcoin really going to hit $1 million in 2025? What do you think about that?
I think it's very interesting because I've listened to what Michael Saylor said and others, right? And even Jerome Powell said something that it's kind of like gold, right? There's only a limited amount of shares of Bitcoin. That in itself could drive the price up. I think that's where they were headed with that. I
Well,
think
that is
that
true.
that's
There
their
is a
thinking.
limited amount.
So
Cost of revenue 603.1. SG&A 282. All right.
if big money starts stockpiling it all over the place, it could cause it to go up. I don't really, I'm not a big crypto person, so I really can't tell you guys. I don't know.
All right. Here's one big number that I look at because let's just make sure this is correct. We got R21 divided by R9. We got R21 is our SG&A, R9 is our revenue. So people are going to focus on the fact, let me color this in so you can see what I'm talking about. This right here. People are going to focus on the fact that SG&A dropped compared to Q3 last year. Last year, mediocre, it was 297. This quarter, it was 282. And that is true in terms of absolute dollars, it dropped. But this is what I look at. What percentage of your net sales was SG&A? And it's 32.7%. Whereas a year ago, it was 27.5%.
No, I'm
So
with you, Robin.
SG&A is going up.
Robin and I, we're on the same wavelength here. I'm with you. I agree.
What did Robin say?
She doesn't mean that Bitcoin won't go higher. She just thinks it would have been much safer earlier for GameStop to do it if they were going to do it, which I agree with her. But who knows what GameStop's going to do anyways, and who knows if Michael Saylor is going to be correct in his thesis. It could be. I don't know. Back to SG&A, Tony.
I was just saying that it's going up as a percentage of sales, which is a problem. This diminishing returns. Let's go back and look at historically what it has been. $26, $25, $22, $28, $27. See this is the problem of declining revenues if you can't cut cost fast enough, is that you're selling general and administration, your SG&A percentage of net sales starts becoming a larger percentage of your sales. 32.7% is not great. Although their gross margin is increasing, their SG&A is soaking up a lot of the revenue. Operating income, negative 25. Net income, so I need to add in.
So Neil says, Ryan Cohen is very conservative with our money. No need to invest in speculation at the moment. We just need to keep putting up profitable quarters, Tony.
He has been conservative with the money. That is true. Only investing it in treasuries, basically.
So Neil, I will say this: I'm not a crypto guy. So, I mean, I'm very cautious with my own money in crypto. So I could understand where Ryan Cohen feels that way as well. I'm just saying that the hype is with Bitcoin at the moment. Sparky's on it already, Tony.
What's up, Sparky? What'd he say?
Sparky says they did not make money operating, correct?
No, they did not.
Million.
Negative 33 million, which is a 100% increase in the operating loss from last quarter. Over 100%.
Sparky with the sledgehammer.
Operating loss is more than doubled. 33.4. Operating margin, negative 3.88%. Interest income, 54.2 million. That's pretty good. That was a little bit higher than I was expecting. And net income should be 17.4. So I got to figure out what field I have off here. R18 minus R21, SG&A 282 plus R25. Something is messed up.
I'm surprised that they put in the 8K that they're not going to dilute for the remainder of the year, which I mean is only what 3 weeks
No, through the end of January.
to the end of January is what it said. All right.
Yeah. All right, let's do some stuff from the cash flow and balance sheet. Cash flow from operating cash flow. Negative 16.6 million. CapEx 12.6.
I agree with you, Robin, but it's not even a long period of time. She's talking about the no dilution till the end of January, Tony.
Gotcha. I think, if people get in there and pump up the price mediocre, that's plenty of time to have a shot at it.
Oh,
Wouldn't you
absolutely.
say?
Well, I think it would, I think if it pumps up, it would help them too to get higher prices if they do decide to dilute after January. I mean, I think it was smart for them to put that in there. Don't you?
Absolutely. Stock-based comp 10.9. Total assets. This is where they look good. Total assets with that cash on the balance sheet now at 6240.2.
Jim, I'm with you. The problem with the Bitcoin thing though is if it is valuable and you don't have to pay tax on it, I think that's a lot of what these big companies are saying, right? They could stockpile their money over there and not have to pay tax on it and generate revenue over there. And they'll make more than they'll make in a SPY. I think that's what they're talking about. I don't really, like I said, I'm not a crypto guy, so I really couldn't tell you if that's true or not. I can only tell you what I've been hearing as far as, Michael Saylor as a CEO and others who are thinking about doing that. There's other companies starting to get on board with that too, I think. Will it work or not? I don't know.
Total debt 463.5. Current liabilities 1099. Is that right?
Mr. Premium, when I say shares, I'm talking about individual Bitcoins, how many Bitcoins there actually is, because you can trade a Bitcoin and not actually have
Wow.
a full Bitcoin. So you have a small percentage. I'm just saying in general, there's only a certain amount of actual coins, like the float, if you equate it to what shares of stock are. Like you have this amount of a float. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin, is what I'm saying. Which could make it valuable. Could. I'm not saying that it's going to. I think Bitcoin's only as valuable as people think it is. That's my opinion of Bitcoin. I don't even know why we're talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about GameStop. But did you start talking about MicroStrategies? Is that how y'all got on that?
I just said that what if GameStop took their money and did something like what Michael Saylor is doing? Not saying that they should do that. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. If Michael Saylor is correct, is what I'm saying. There's a a yearly percentage gain that you can make. What do I know? I'm not a crypto guy. I actually don't even like crypto, if you want me to be honest.
Total debt, 463.5. It helps if you put a decimal, not a comma. All right.
See, Jim Eagle knows more than me about it. He's talking about XRP's ledger, which I hear XRP is going to do well. Which I'm in neither one of them, to be clear.
How many shares did they say they have on this income statement? Average shares 437.9. I'm going to update that up here. So your average shares, just so you guys know, when your company is diluting during a quarter, is it may be different reported on the income statement than what you're seeing on your broker because of the way that they compute shares. It's an average when you're diluting, not the total outstanding. So even though GameStop has 446 million outstanding on the income statement, we have 437.9. That gives us a book value per share, according to this income statement, of 1098, 1097.
I love Anya, Tony.
What'd she say?
She's funny because she hasn't even been in the Discord with us. But you know how there's a couple people on our Discord that call us lunar lunatics?
Yeah.
Anya's comment says she's more of a lunatic than a cryptocurrency person because she likes lunar.
You like lunar too, huh, Anya?
Yeah.
All right. So I pretty much have all of the numbers in here, mediocre. Well, I'll go through this when we're not live and make sure that
Nice.
that I don't have any huge mistakes. But let's just see what we got here now. And we don't need to look at all this. This is really locations. We don't know the number of locations until the 10K next quarter. So we know they've been closing locations. I'd like to do a revenue per location field, but I can't do that because they don't tell us how many locations exactly are closing. Hardware. All right. If we just look mediocre, this is, let's get rid of these. This is the comparable quarter over here. L. So hardware was 53% of sales. Now it's 48%. Software was 29%. Now it's 31%. And collectibles was 16%. And now it's 19%. That kind of just follows what we all know, right? Hardware is declining.
Yeah.
In the gaming.
But they're still selling games, though.
They're still selling software and they're selling collectibles.
Yeah, what software are they selling? Is that the games? That's what I'm thinking.
I would presume so. The big thing, though, is this revenue growth rate. I mean, if you care about things like that, and Wall Street does, what do we talk about every day? What do I talk about with you guys every day? Find companies that have growing revenue and growing profits. If you want a pretty lock solid, this is a investable company. Number one, I want you looking for growing revenues and growing profits. If it doesn't have those, you're entering more of a speculative play, right? Does that make sense, mediocre?
Yeah. We've actually changed strategies on how we find plays in the Discord, which you know that.
There
know.
are a lot of different plays that we look at. There's day trades, there's swing trades, there are plays that we're just working the wheel on, and then there's your long-term holds. And your safest long-term hold is going to be a company that has growing profits and growing revenues. If it doesn't have both of those things, if you don't have growing revenues, if it's going downhill, then there is something wrong with the core business. And I mean, I'm just stating the obvious here. GameStop has declining revenues. What they have is a foundation to fight against that, to make them not really a shortable company for a bankruptcy thesis. There is no bankruptcy thesis at all for GameStop, is the cash they have on the balance sheet. But you should not ignore the declining revenue, because that's going to come to a head one day. Hopefully Ryan has a plan that he announces to everybody of what he's going to do with the cash before they have no stores left, mediocre. Or maybe that is the plan, to have no stores left and just be a digital merchant, which might not be a bad idea.
No, that might be, smart, but then you're competing with Amazon.
So that's a red flag on here, the falling revenue growth rate. I do have the gross margin that automatically got filled in as green. It is higher than the same quarter a year ago. It was 26%. Now it's 29.9%. So that is good. Gross margin is improving. Second red flag, SG&A as a percentage of net sales is going up. So they're consuming more of their sales just operating the business, which is why operating income is getting worse. It was only a negative 1.3% operating margin a year ago. Now it's almost negative 4%. So people are going to tell you there's no bad numbers on here. There are bad numbers on here. Operating margin is getting worse. SG&A as a percentage of net sales is going up. These are just black and white numbers. This is not disputable. And the revenue growth rate is going down. What can we say good on here? They had interest income of $54 million that offset that falling operating income and still allowed the company to be profitable. What I would be thinking about if I was invested in GameStop for the long term is what's going to happen over the next year if management does nothing and interest rates keep getting cut.
Yep.
Have you thought about this, mediocre?
I was just going to bring it up, to be honest.
Yeah, as interest rates get cut, this interest income is going to go down.
Yep.
While your net income from operations is getting obliterated from stores closing and your top line revenue is falling. It's just something to be aware of, and hope that Ryan has a plan before we get to the situation where these things start crossing in the wrong direction again. I'm showing a PE ratio, if this is correct, of 150. That is a very high PE ratio relative to any competitor in the industry. And as you guys know, if you're not listening to pumpers on YouTube, every analyst, anybody with training in accounting or finance, the very first thing they're going to look at is the price to earnings ratio. Does it make sense relative to peers in the same sector? I don't want y'all comparing it to Amazon or Tesla or Carvana. Those are other companies in other sectors. I want you comparing it to specialty retail or computer sales. And this is 10 times the PE ratio of any of its competitors. So that's telling you that investors are right now willing to pay more for earnings, 10 times more for earnings than anybody else in the specialty retail sector. But that also tells me that the shorts are going to be attracted to that to try and push the price of the stock down to a more reasonable PE ratio. Who will win? I couldn't tell you. We'll have to stick around and find out. Operating cash flow, negative 16 million versus negative 19 million last quarter. Is about the same. CapEx went up a little bit. Not, their CapEx is really small, 12 million. And I don't know if you guys have been reading on the forums and stuff. I mean, they have these employees on lockdown. Like, you can't even order toilet paper without a manager's approval if you work in a store. So they are doing everything within their power between SG&A and CapEx, both to keep expenses under control. Free cash flow, negative $29 million. Free cash flow margin, negative 3%. Price to free cash flow, negative 411. I mean, these things that are red, these are mostly filled in automatically by the spreadsheet. If it's a bad number, the spreadsheet will tell you. It'll color it red. And then we get to the good part. Strong balance sheet. Good current ratio. Book value. I was thinking the book value was a little bit higher, but it's telling me 1097. So if the company were liquidated, that's where you look at book value. People talk about book value versus tangible book value. Guys, I mean, come on. It's the same thing for GameStop. Book value versus tangible book value. I heard one dummy mediocre say, Tony Darrow wants to talk to you about book value. Oh, no, Tony. Tangible book value. It's the same damn thing for GameStop. The only difference between book value and tangible is tangible takes out goodwill, but GameStop has no goodwill. So it's the same thing. Same thing, book value or tangible book value for GameStop. 1097. That is your liquidation value. Remember, Roaring Kitty first got his eye on GameStop when the stock was trading the market cap under the book value per share. Right now we're trading at 3x, 2.83x the book value, which doesn't mean much other than people are willing to pay 3 times the assets of the company because they believe in the future of the company. And whether or not that ends up being a good decision, only time will tell.
I heard Roaring Kitty came back. Do you think he's invested in GameStop, Tony?
I don't know. That was very interesting, mediocre, that he came back just for that one day on Thursday, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I got for the spreadsheet right now. I'll now that I have this done, mediocre, I'll put together some thoughts and maybe do a video in the next day or so. Let me bring this screen down here so I can see everybody.
When Roaring Kitty came back the other day, Tony, did the price move up?
It did for a couple minutes, as I recall. What am I right?
I believe it did, yeah. I thought he didn't have an effect on the stock.
From what I've seen, mediocre, every time he comes back, he has an effect on the stock.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I know people say he just has good timing, mediocre. He knows the point of interest, and he knows right when to tweet.
Interesting.
Then why was he tweeting for 20 days last time, or however many days it was? I don't get it.
Me either.
For me, it just seems like it's very obvious that he's driving the price, but he seems to have less and less of an impact every time he comes back. Neil, what's going on, buddy? He says Ryan Cohen never gives his plans out, just like he did with Chewy Pharmacy. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, Neil. Wall Street has a problem with it, but I guess they can go suck eggs, right? I don't care whether he puts out a plan or not, but it's tough, I think, for Wall Street to get behind a company sitting on cash and not doing anything. And if he comes up with a good plan and they like it, then they're going to get behind the stock. And if he is not communicating a plan, you're going to continue getting beat on by the media and, you know, negative news articles because they're going to say he has no plan. That's just, I mean, that's what you got to deal with if you're a GameStop investor. I'm not saying it's a good or bad. Just don't be surprised if they're beating on you. But you guys are used to that by now. I personally don't care whether he communicates one or not, but it's going to be in a bit of a limbo until he decides what he wants to do with that cash. Jim says AMC popped on Roaring Kitty's tweet, then Adam Aaron immediately diluted. You know, Jim, I know a lot of people are mad about Adam Aaron's timing. I think his timing had nothing to do with Roaring Kitty's tweet or GameStop's upcoming earnings, because I told you guys on what day? November 6th? I told you 30 days ago that a dilution announcement was coming. Mediocre, what day did I tell you that the dilution announcement was coming by? On or before what?
December 13th.
December 13th or 15th, one of those 2 days. So
Yeah.
the timing of his dilution announcement, I think, was coincidental, because I knew from my own analysis 30 days ago that any day now we were going to get a dilution, and AMC was trading at $4 then. So
And
for me, the price of the stock was irrelevant to the fact that they needed to dilute. I want you to hear what I say one more time. He needed to dilute, and the price of the stock was irrelevant. Why? Why do I say that, Mediocre?
the price of the stock is irrelevant.
No, he needed to dilute no matter what the price of the stock was. I knew it was coming.
Oh, why did he have to dilute?
Yeah.
Because he needs money for Q1. That's
Right.
why.
Exactly. They need money for Q1. Q1 to me looks like a big stinker coming up. Q4, anybody's guess right now. And so I'm just looking at Q1 saying they're probably going to burn 250 million in Q1. They're not going to, huh?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that somewhere in the documentation with the lenders, there's an agreement that they can't probably drop below a certain amount of cash on the balance sheet. I'm speculating.
Last time I saw that, Mediocre, the fixed dollar amount that I remember seeing was 100 million, but there are other financial ratios that the lenders are looking at too. Financial ratios on the balance sheet.
So, you know, AMC's not going to let their cash get that low. That's the thing.
If I'm looking at the Q1 and predicting that they're going to burn 200 to 250 million in Q1, and they only have 500 right now, and let's just say Q4 is a break even, do you think that they're going to go into Q1 and have only a couple hundred million when they come out of it? No. They've shown us time after time that they like to keep at least 500 million on the balance sheet. And so for me, that was an easy prediction back at the beginning of November. And the price of the stock, whether it was $4, $5, $6, $7, you were going to get a dilution announcement this month.
And I'll tell you, like, to be honest, I'm not into play. I took my lump and I left. You know, it is what it is. So
I'm out. I'm out of the play also. I've been out of it for a month now, in fact, since I made that realization and put the word out to the Discord. Hey guys, I don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks with the price, but there is a dilution announcement coming. So you guys do with that info whatever you want.
It was what was said in the earnings call for me that I was done.
Jim says they can't hold more than 800 million. Is that correct? From what I read, Jim, that is correct. From what I read, that is correct. Matt says anytime AA tweets, it always comes with dilution. I was noticing that, Matt. I've seen people say that before. Based on this latest tweet storm, I would say there is appears to be a high correlation between the CEO's tweet storms and upcoming dilution announcements.
Yep.
All right. Hein Hun.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got out there and did another tour.
I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly. He'll do one when he does. I didn't see him trying to make a bigger post before earnings, but now with no dilution in the window, Roaring Kitty has free reign. Who are we talking about? He'll do one when he does. Who are we talking about? Ryan Cohen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if GameStop has more dilution in its future or not. It really depends on what Ryan Cohen's plan is. How much cash does he need? What's his plan? Could there be more GameStop dilution? I mean, mediocre, the number one thing they're selling these days over at GameStop is new shares.
I don't understand. Like, I get it. It was overvalued, so he diluted, but like, I didn't see that coming. I was surprised when he diluted GameStop shareholders twice. So I didn't foresee
he must
that.
have big plans, mediocre. He's got a big bank account now.
Yes, he does.
Carlos says the only way AMC will get out of debt is by filing for bankruptcy. I don't think they need to get out of debt, Carlos. There's a lot of companies that have a lot of debt. All they need to do is they need income enough that they're not burning cash every quarter. And the box office is not there yet. And TBD if it will be there in 2025. I'm not, based on what I'm seeing from industry experts, it's a coin toss for me if box office will be big enough for AMC to make a profit in 2025. I feel pretty good about 2026. So I'm saying right now, AMC making a profit in 2025, I wouldn't bank on that, which tells me that they probably, a decent percent chance that they might need to do some more cash raise next year. And that's something you guys need to be factoring into your own personal risk assessment. They're probably going to need to raise more cash, which mediocre brings us into really the reason I think you and I are both out of the play. Like, where are they going to raise that cash from?
How are they going to raise the cash, Tony?
Right. They're out of shares now. They have 1 million shares not spoken for. Only 1 million.
But how much money do you think they could get with 1 million shares?
$4 million.
What are they going to do with 4 million, Tony? What are they going to do with 50 million they're going to get from Goldman?
That's the other thing. I mean, I see a lot of people fighting and debating on the videos right now about the forward contract and this and that. And is AMC going to make 50 million or 60 or 100? Does it matter?
Exactly.
Does it matter, guys,
Not
how much they make?
Zero matters. They have no shares.
Because what's going to happen next time they need money? They
Exactly.
have there's no tap left to go to. So all this arguing about the forward contract is just, to me, nonsense and a distraction. People not wanting to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the company's out of shares.
Which is why I'm not in the play.
Which is, I want you guys to be thinking a step ahead. If you're listening to this channel, learn to think a step ahead of what all the nonsense these jokers are talking about on social media.
If you think
that's not fear or FUD, guys. It's math. The company told you they have 1 million shares left. No company is going to let themselves sit there with no cash raisability when they're losing money.
What did Adam Aaron say in the earnings call, Tony, when he said he was going to ask the shareholders permission for what?
Accelerating CapEx?
Accelerating CapEx. Why did he need shareholder permission?
Well, I mean, he doesn't need our permission to spend money on CapEx, mediocre. So if I'm following your line of thinking, the only thing he asks us about is for us to vote on something.
Yep.
So if I'm following your train of thought correctly, you're thinking he's going to ask for a vote at some point.
I think there could be some sort of a vote coming. Yep. Maybe a vote for shares. Something like that.
Let's play a song, mediocre. Let's
do
play
it.
a song that kicked off the GameStop run up.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaires. Short squeeze plays where fortune flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Reddit warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. GameStop's on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. GameStop's on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, you'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, molasses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet, we will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Book value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. GameStop's on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.
We're gonna win.
We're
Tony.
gonna win, baby. I love
Tony.
that song.
Did you see my song I made?
The lunar one.
Yeah,
I did. I like it. You're a lunatic now, huh?
I'm a lunatic.
All right. Now that we got the AMC dilution notice out of the way, and we got the GameStop earnings out of the way, I can focus the rest of this week on other plays. These have been taking up a lot of my time, mediocre. The funny thing is, I don't own either one of the stocks right now.
Should I put on my lunar helmet? You got
You
a
have
lunar
a
helmet.
lunar helmet. Oh yeah, we could do some
Yes,
lunar live
we
streams
can.
with our astronaut helmet.
Yep.
By the way, for anybody who is going to criticize that song that I just played, by the way, I do not own any GameStop. I only swing trade GameStop. And AMC, since we were talking about it, as I told you guys in January, for me, this year, 2024, was only a swing trade play. So don't get mad that I got out. Swing trading because I'm trying to time the dilution that we knew was coming. I got out in March 27th. I got out right before the last dilution. That was the same analysis that I did that predicted this dilution. It's very easy just to look at the financials. You guys got to stop listening to these people that tell you he's trying to stop a run up. It's all about just look at the financial statements, learn to read them, and think like a company executive. When you're running low on cash, mediocre, what do? You go
tap the
get some
equity market.
freaking money.
You tap the fucking equity market,
You
Tony.
tap the equity markets. That's why they're there.
Or what's Diane Garrett say?
De-risk the balance sheet.
De-risk the balance sheet. There you go. There's others too.
Anya says, I'm finding there are other stocks to invest in. Yeah, I've been seeing folks in my Discord, mediocre. They've been saying, the best thing about the last year that they've learned is there are other plays out there that they can make money on. And
Yeah,
I
you don't have
love
to just sit
I
there.
love to see that. I don't
I have
want you guys in
friends.
one stock. I mean,
I have
if
friends who are stuck, and I, I've helped them. You know what I'm talking about. I've helped them, Tony, and I want them to be successful, and then they just want to sit there. I don't know what to say, but I love you anyway. It's all good.
Neil says GameStop was losing 300 million a quarter and they're now profiting 17 million. Yeah, Neil. I mean, Ryan's been making the tough choices. He's been closing stores, cutting costs, and diluting shareholders. And he turned around the numbers for now.
I wonder if he did some math, Tony, before he diluted the shareholders.
How much dilution do I need to do to just break even, off of
How much
interest?
dilution do I need? Yeah, yes, exactly. That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
You think that was the plan? Let me just make sure that I have enough cash raised that we can break even while we figure out what we're going to do. No, I don't think he's that evil, mediocre. I think he
I
does.
didn't say he was evil. I mean, but think about it. That's brilliant to think that. I mean, shit. He calculated what he needed for money and how much interest he would get to be able to pay it on the
Yeah. I mean,
be profitable every quarter.
let me pull up.
I don't know that happened. I'm just saying.
Let me pull up a competitor since we have Neil here. I'm just going to pull up. Let's pull up Best Buy.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of the same thing we do. Like when we think outside of the box, like, oh, if we do this, there's more money. Like what Rolf and I were doing tonight, as a matter of fact.
I just want to see how much net income. See, Neil, how much do you think, if you're happy about GameStop's plan, true, they went from losing hundreds of millions of dollars to now making a small profit. When you compare Best Buy, whose net income is $1.2 billion, to a GameStop who might have what, 100 million? Let's be generous. Let's say 200 million. If GameStop's net income for the year is 200 million and Best Buy is 1.2 billion, Best Buy's PE ratio is 14.8.
Anya, depending on
Is GameStop worth 150 price to earnings? When you think about it logically, guys, step away from your love of GameStop, from the hopium. Just think like a finance bro for a second. 100 million, 200 million versus 1.2 billion. And the 1.2 billion company is valued at 14 times their earnings. They're bringing in $1.2 billion. And you're telling me that a company that's bringing in 100 million is worth 150 times that. Does that make sense to you? That's all I'm
and
saying.
Anya, to answer your question, I think if the interest rate stayed the same, they could do it indefinitely. So her question was, She says, I hear what you're saying about the math. It shows profitability, but how long could he do that, Tony? Was her question.
How long could he keep on earning interest? He could turn his company into an ETF, Anya. He could just go buy quality blue chip stocks that pay dividends and make the company an ETF. He could become the next Warren Buffett if he can't find something to invest in. And I have no problem with that. But that is not going to be valued by the market at 150 times earnings. Your assets are worth the assets plus the income they throw off.
It's kind of like
4.6 billion on the balance sheet is not worth a market cap of 12 billion. It's just not.
the only reason why I'm comparing these two, and I brought this up in the Discord earlier, we were talking about this, but MicroStrategy is kind of doing the same thing, right? They have a not profitable company, a software business, right? It's not profitable from what I understand, and they're diluting shareholders, taking that money, and they're putting it into Bitcoin, and it's expected to grow. I'm not saying that GameStop should do that. I'm just saying in general, it's kind of the same thing. He's took the money he used from dilution and he put it into whatever bank that's paying him an interest rate, and he's collecting that every month. It's the same thing basically.
But Michael Saylor invested in an asset which wildly appreciated, and that ended up being a great strategy for him for right now.
He just bought more. They're still buying. He claims it's going to continue going up, but I don't really
That's
want to
what
talk about
I
that.
was really hoping to see, that maybe Ryan Cohen took a chance with it, some of that money, and invested it in literally anything mediocre besides earning 4.5%. He's playing it very safe, and
But he
I
could get
can't
10%
fault.
if you put it in the S&P 500, though.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fault him for playing it safe, but it would have been great for shareholders to see, and for the stock price to see literally anything else done with that cash.
Yeah.
Besides just let it sit there. So the fact that he's letting it sit there and being conservative with it tells me that there is some plan that they're working on mediocre. They want to make sure they don't lose that cash. That's how I'm reading it right now. They don't want to risk. And I'm not saying GameStop go buy Bitcoin at $100,000 because
No.
it's risky, right?
Absolutely.
Michael
he can
Saylor,
definitely-
when you invest in MicroStrategy, you know exactly what you're getting into. You're investing in a company that is all in on Bitcoin.
I had a very good week last week in that.
Michael Saylor mediocre is not going to get sued if Bitcoin goes down, right?
No.
Because everybody who's buying that stock knows that if Bitcoin falls, MSTR is going to go down, because that is the play. If Ryan Cohen spent $2 billion on Bitcoin and then Bitcoin fell from 100 to 60 and he lost 40% of the cash, he might get sued because that's not what people signed up for. They didn't sign up for that kind of risk. That's kind of how I view it. He's got to be a good steward of the money. Now, if he invested it in blue chips,
that's what I mean.
That would be cool, I think. Treasuries, nobody's going to sue him for investing the money in money market or treasuries because
or index funds, right?
It's risk free. Sonny says it's not about the legacy business. I get it, Sonny. I agree. I think he should close all the stores. It's not about the legacy business. The legacy business is going to wither away.
I kind of agree, honestly.
And I'm not saying that to be negative. I mean, it's just a fact. They'll have, look, in my city, we have like 20 GameStops, some of them within a half mile of each other.
Why?
Do we need that many?
No,
we don't. They should, and they will close more stores, and the top line revenues is going to fall. And if they can get to some point where they're just, eking out a little profit, that's cool. It's just like MicroStrategy. It's not about their core business. I don't want y'all to think I'm being negative about GameStop. They just need, for you guys that are invested in it, they need to eventually do something with that money more than make 4.5%. And if you're willing to keep paying 3 times what that cash is worth, because you think he's going to come up with a plan that will value that cash at 3 times what it's worth, then you do you. I don't care if you invest in it or not. I'm just going to provide the rational analysis. There are plenty of other hopium channels that will tell you for sure that's definitely the plan without a doubt. Maybe. I've had people leave my Discord because I told them that Bed Bath & Beyond was a bad investment and that they should get out of it. And they got mad at me and left the Discord. I just call it like I see it based on the financials. And right now, I can only tell you what I see in GameStop. I'm not a GameStop pumping channel. Maybe he has a plan, and I hope he does. And I hope all of your dreams come true. But I am not invested in it because I'm not a buy and hold GameStop person. I'm a buy low, sell high GameStop person.
I'm a buy low, sell high, any stock person.
Yep.
I don't care what the ticker is.
Neil says, what if Ryan Cohen does the Costco model? Like just making all your money off of subscriptions? Yeah. GameStop Pro subscription is the only people that can buy, but hardware and software are cheaper across the board. Yeah, I mean that's free money. Free money, Neil. They should keep on pushing that. Isn't Tesla trading way over its book value? Yep. Tesla is trading way over its earnings value too, not just book value.
I mean,
Their
we talked
PE
about that today,
ratio.
didn't we, Tony?
PE ratio is 161, and that is the most common complaint about Tesla. Is if you compare it to any other automaker, it's worth 10 times. It's priced at 10 times any other auto company. But then people will say, but Tesla is not just an auto company. They have their tentacles in so many more things. I'm not the right person to tell you if that's a good investment or not. I have the same feeling with Tesla. I day trade Tesla. I swing trade Tesla. I've bought Tesla when it was cheap, when it had a relatively low PE ratio, back when it was at $100. But I can't tell you right now, buy Tesla at 140. Wait, PE forward 162. I can't tell you that that's a screaming value play. It's speculative when it's valued that high. So for me, Tesla is swing trade only.
So there's a good question, Tony. I know it's probably not one we want to really answer, but Robert says, if NVIDIA falls, would the market tank?
If NVIDIA falls, it's going to take one of the indexes down with it. Mediocre, don't you agree?
Absolutely. I think there could be a possible bubble there, yeah.
I'll tell you guys, I don't talk about all my trades, but right now I have some hedging in place in case the market crashes or even takes a small hiccup. Everything is looking pretty frothy right now.
I think there is possibly an AI bubble. I think AI pushed prices up really high, but are these companies going to make a profit off of AI is the question, but AI is out there. I mean, shit, you can use AI for anything now. It's like everybody has their own AI.
Jim asked, does Tesla have a Bitcoin reserve? I remember reading something about that, Jim. I haven't checked recently.
No, Jim, it has a Dogecoin. No, I'm joking, people.
Let me see if I can find anything, Jim.
I can't help myself sometimes.
He's all in on Doge. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Let's see. How old is this article? October 2024. Yeah. Tesla has 11,500 Bitcoin, according to this article on Forbes. So yeah, it's a pretty good stake. They had, as of October, it was worth 776 million. I guess we could just add a couple zeros to this 11,500 Bitcoin.
That
Yeah.
our boy Elon.
Yeah. Oh man, mediocre. We were talking earlier today. We should have bought more Tesla when Trump got confirmed. We should have gone all in. Elon partnered up with the right dude.
Yes, he did. Yeah, we missed a couple of things we should have been in on, man. That
Is a good.
I'll be honest. I was concerned about the election. You know. So
That's a good point, Neil. Ryan Cohn probably thinks the market is frothy too. That is a solid point, and we have talked about that in our Discord before. Like maybe he's holding off investing in anything because everything's super expensive right now, and that could be a genius move. Just wait for things to crash, and then you're sitting on cash. I'm in 90% cash right now, mediocre.
Yeah, we turned down a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not in cash, but where I put my money is, I think, safe. You know,
I'm a little bit nervous about where things are right now. It doesn't mean that I'm not trading, but I'm not trying to hold stuff.
Yeah,
super long term. I'm just jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out.
exactly. But that's how I trade, anyways. It's just, I held AMC for a long time, but after, well, I don't want to go down that hole again, but we all know conversion reverse split, blah blah blah. That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Conversion and reverse split.
What do you mean by it? How so?
As far as just holding it, rather than protecting my position.
It wasn't the reverse split conversion for me,
No.
mediocre.
It was
as much as
dilution.
knowing what was going to come after that. Like
Yeah,
a
it was the
reverse split is meaningless. And I'm
Yeah.
still going to keep saying that to you guys. Forward split, reverse split are meaningless. But if a company is reverse splitting while telling you that they're going to dilute, you need to pay attention to the second part of what they're saying.
What I'm trying to say, my point though was, I was always profitable up until the bitter end. That's when things started to change, and I had to work the position, as you know, with Ape to recover my money and pull it out. So at that point, I knew, like, it's kind of done with what we thought originally. My opinion, by the way. You guys think how you want to think, that's fine. But I just trade like I always traded all the other stocks, but now I just don't hold anything anymore for a period of time, right? Like, I might hold it for a week or 2 weeks, a month, whatever, but it's short term.
Mediocre. I had someone really angry at me in my comments on my weekend video about AMC that he said, Tony, when AMC runs, you're just going to FOMO in. How's that? I would say, how's that different from any day trade or swing trade that we do, mediocre? Do we call that FOMO?
Nope.
We call that playing the momentum.
Exactly.
And right now, my risk assessment is that the momentum is likely to be negative. But the beautiful thing about sitting here all day from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. in cash is I'm not going to miss any upward momentum in any stock.
But Tony,
GameStop, AMC, if they start running, blink, push a button, a couple minutes later, blink, get out. That's not FOMO. That's trading momentum.
Let's talk about the definition of FOMO. What does FOMO actually mean? It means the fear
I think that means mortgaging your house and going in at the very top of a play.
No, it means fear of missing out. Okay, Tony? Are you scared of fucking missing out on the play, Tony?
No.
I mean, come on. I'm not scared. You know how many fucking plays there are in the market, people? Like, I could find a play every single day. And believe me, it doesn't have the ticker AMC or GME on the fucking thing. Sorry to be blunt, but that's the truth. And if you don't believe me, follow me on Twitter. I'll start fucking posting them. How's that? Sorry.
We're going to line some up for you guys tomorrow in the Discord. Now that like I said, now that my attention is not distracted on these meme stocks. Mediocre. So let's just close out because I don't want to be here all night.
All right, but before we close out, I got one more thing to say about.
I was going to have one more thing to say too, but I'll let you go first.
I want to say this because there's YouTubers out there, Tony, who claim to have common sense, and I challenge you. If you think you got common sense, then you should know that percentage gain is percentage gain, no matter if you have $1 or 100. So I challenge you to beat me in percentage gain, and I guarantee you can't. End of story. That's my rant.
I saw a couple videos from the Popcorn Gang today, Mediocre, saying that the AMC forward contract in selling these 50 million shares is illegal because they don't have the shares. Goldman doesn't have the shares to deliver for any shares that they sell. Now, I'm just going to ask you a question, Mediocre. Do you think that AMC and Goldman would enter into an agreement and file it with the SEC if it was illegal, what they were doing?
No, they would not. They would not.
Do you think that you should be getting advice from someone who thinks that they're on YouTube, who thinks that we're still doing T+2 settlement?
No. No. Nope.
That's all I'm going to say. Guys, if you're listening to people who don't even understand that we're at T+1, what the fuck are you doing? First of all.
Listen,
I'm not going to get into the whole explaining to you how the forward contract thing works because I don't own AMC and it's not worth the headache of me correcting these fools because they're going to say that I'm defending Adam Aaron. I don't care about Adam Aaron. But nobody is getting this forward contract thing correct.
Tony,
not one person that I've watched.
We were working together. He wanted to get that information out to you guys. He did, right? And I kept saying, Tony, I don't give a shit. He's like, why? I'm like, I could care less. He goes, why? I go, because they don't got no fucking shares. That's why. You know, and he's like, he did it. He's like, yeah, they got no shares. It's pointless.
Yeah, I had an excellent 15-minute video ready to go to explain to you guys exactly how the forward contract was going to work, including where the shares were going to come from to cover, where Goldman, when they sell shares, they're going to buy shares, they're going to deliver shares. I was fully prepared to explain all of that, and then I was like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because people they're going to misconstrue my attempt to help you guys understand things. And at the end of the day, just like Mediocre said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, after they're done raising their $250 million, they're out of shares. That's all that matters.
And how long do you think $250 million is going to last them?
March 31st.
So where are they going to get money after that? That's what I have to ask the audience right now. You tell me where, and I'll shut the fuck up. I'm
And
sorry to be blunt.
that's not Adam Aaron or AMC being evil or hating you or helping shorts. They're just they're looking at the cash flow statement, the income statement, and the balance sheet. And until the company's profitable, dilution is part of your life. If you don't like that, don't be in the play. You're going to be dealing with it for the next year. I'm telling you right now. If you don't like that, get out of the play. If you are okay with that because you're a long-term investor and you're going to average down, then stay in the play. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, I don't care what you do either.
This was the question I was going to close with, Mediocre. When have you thought about when there is going to be? Let's go on the record here. This is just a gamble. This is just a side bet. When is AMC going to notify shareholders that there is going to be a vote, an upcoming vote? Because this is the thing that no one's talking about. So let's talk about it. I'm going to give you a date.
Well, ask me again because I was reading on your.
By what date will AMC notify shareholders that there is going to be an upcoming vote?
Oh, I don't know the date off the top of my head. I don't. I'd have to go do the research.
I'm just guessing. I'm going to say 55% chance before end of December, 45% chance by end of January.
Yeah, I would say definitely going to know something in the next 2 months.
I think they want to get the vote done in Q1. And according to Delaware law, you got to, once you notify shareholders of a special shareholders meeting, you got to do it at least 10 days in advance and no more than 60 days in advance. So that's kind of the numbers that I'm looking at when I guess when they're going to notify you. I'm kind of thinking about that 60 days.
Since we're talking about this, Tony, I got a question for you because I made a video saying that Goldman was the new Ontario. Did you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So my question to you and for the audience here is, do you think that those shares that were given to Goldman to do what they need to do with them in the forward agreement are votable shares? Can they vote?
They are 100% votable shares. Were you asking me or the audience?
I was asking you, but the audience, because I want them to think about what I just said. So they can vote.
Okay, here's what we don't know, Mediocre. And this is one thing that people have gotten right on the other videos. The December 6th filing was a ATM offering. They could sell shares direct into the market, or they could do a forward contract. That is correct. They could do either or both. What we don't know, and we will have no way of knowing, is what are they doing? Are they selling them in the market right now? Is that what's driving the price down, or is it just shareholders concerned? Did they sign a forward agreement to give to pledge 50 million shares to Goldman, or are they waiting? Like, we have no idea. So when you guys hear me talking about this, keep in mind, I have no idea what's going on. And we won't know. We won't know because forward contracts are private negotiations. They could wait, for all I know, they could wait 3 months to sign a forward contract. They could be doing nothing right now. I don't know, but you guys have heard me say this before. If you've been listening to my channel for a while, if you see a filing, you should assume that whatever it says is starting right away. Whether that's Ryan Cohen selling his Bed Bath & Beyond shares or AMC telling you that they're going to do a forward contract. The way I look at it, they filed because they intend to act on it. So that being said, that's my frame of reference, Mediocre. I think that they're going to do a forward contract sooner rather than later, probably already done. And if they did one for the full amount, which I don't know, that would give Goldman voting rights for 50 million shares.
Mm-hmm.
And Goldman, AMC could, hey, sign the contract. We'll let you know when we want you to start selling. We'll let you know in 60 days after the vote.
Tony, I don't disagree with you though.
I'm just hypothetical spitballing here. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, how are you so sure that
Here's
this
the
is a
other thing,
plan for
Tony.
AMC to make $500 million? How do you know that what I'm saying is not true? Nobody knows. I'm just
This is
saying
other
the
thing that they're not
uncomfortable
talking
part
about.
out loud.
Yeah, this is the other thing they're not talking about, Tony. Did Delaware change any laws last year?
No. Yeah. They changed the amount of shareholder vote to approve a reverse split.
No fucking way, dude. Really? They changed
Yeah.
that law in Delaware last year?
Yeah, reverse split requires 50% of the people that show up. In which case, 50 million votes would go a long way to ensuring a win, I would think, considering how few people show up to vote. Mediocre.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb chicken farmer. I'm a dumb failed actor, mediocre. I don't know shit.
You think Goldman's going to show up for the vote?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't. There might not even be a vote. I could be completely wrong here. AMC might be fine going the next 12 months with no ability to raise cash. But the reason I don't think that, mediocre, I don't want y'all to think I'm being mean to AMC. I coined a phrase in my Discord that people didn't understand called a short magnet. And a company that's losing money, that has no ability to raise cash, becomes a short magnet. AMC does not want to be a short magnet. If they're losing money and the shorts see that they have no way to raise money, that's a shortable stock. Would you short that one, mediocre?
Absolutely, if I could. I don't short stocks, but I mean, just understand that it makes it an easy win.
Yeah, because the company is, you just, all you got to do is be patient till they run out of cash and then they're fucked. Now, I know people are yelling at the screen saying, but if they dilute, that's going to be a short magnet too. You're exactly right.
But the thing is, with dilution, they add cash to the balance sheet, which strengthens their position.
Which avoids bankruptcy.
Right.
So, I mean, I get it. It's a no-win situation for you.
Yeah,
but
you're in a no-win situation.
For shareholders, it's a no-win situation. Like if with the day you get to that vote, we're going to vote no and condemn this company to bankruptcy, short magnet, or we're going to vote yes and agree to be diluted, in which case we know that some shorts are going to come into the play.
Now, I'm not telling you to listen to me. I'm sure Tony's not telling you to listen to him. We're telling you do your own due diligence, right?
Make your own risk assessment. That's all we're saying.
Fact check me for yourself. Don't listen to someone on YouTube tell you this. Go do it for yourself if you care about your position. Right? Like, I'll be honest. Right now I'm speculating about what I think is going to happen. Why I left the play. Right? Because I was invested in AMC all year. I was. And I'm not.
I was too. For, other than a couple days where I got out in March, I've been in it most of the year too, trying to accumulate when it was cheap and sell when it was running up. It was one of our best plays, especially with that run up in May. I made 1,000% with the shares that I had plus call options in May. But right now, for me, just for me. You guys do whatever you want. It's exceeding my risk parameters, knowing what I think is coming. And then if what I think is coming happens, then I can always come back in cheaper. And if I'm wrong and nothing happens and it starts running, then I can play it as a momentum play. That's where I'm at right now.
Just for anybody who want, I'm not bragging or anything, but I just want to let you guys know both of my portfolios are up over 100% on the year. Both of them. Gain. Over 100%.
Ape named Roscoe says, is it not already a short magnet? AMC. Roscoe, I mean, it is in a sense. The short interest on AMC is pretty high. GameStop has almost no short interest. It's not a short magnet, except when the price gets really high, like in around 30, 31, 32, that attracts shorts. You're going to get spanked by shorts as you get over $30, even if they're just day trading, because that's an easy short. 3x book value, no earnings, easy short. AMC is, you're going to be dealing with shorts until the company's profitable. That their thesis is that the company is going to have to keep diluting. And I agree with that. They have no choice.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to be smart. Same thing we talked about in January. You're going to need to be smart if you're trading AMC. Take opportunity to buy cheap and sell into run-ups and do your best to anticipate dilution. Even though you don't like what I'm saying, I look at the cash flow, I look at the box office, look at the balance sheet, I look at the income statement, and I try and forecast these things so I'm not caught in the crossfire. And then I can come in after. And that was beautiful. In April mediocre, when it got beat down to $2.38, that was a massive overselling of the stock.
GameStop's up 62% on the year, Tony.
On the year, yeah, I think so. All right, mediocre. The wife is home, and I told her I was going to spend some time with her this evening after she got back from yoga. So hopefully you guys got some value out of this. I'll do a GameStop kind of like 5-minute synopsis video now that we got the spreadsheet updated. And hey, good luck. Maybe Roaring Kitty will come back now that they are telling us no more dilution until the end of January. Could be an interesting play. But the shorts are going to try and stop it anywhere over $30. And the higher it goes above that, the more they're going to try. And my belief is mediocre because I look at reported short interest. There is almost no shorts in GameStop.
All right, before we go, we have to respond to this comment.
Which one?
BW Legs here says, I don't care about dilution, just no reverse split.
I mean, they have two choices. They have two choices. They could ask you to increase the share count, add 250 million shares or a 500,000.
Let's get
or
to
they
the point.
could ask you to approve a reverse split. The first one is a very difficult vote. They need more than half of all shareholders to vote.
But let's get to the point, Tony. What does reverse split do alone?
It drops the issued share count without changing the authorized share count.
Right.
And it increases the price per share.
Right, but it doesn't do anything as far as you losing money, correct, if you're a shareholder?
Did you feed the cat?
No.
Nobody?
So right after reverse split, if you had $300, just to say, before reverse split happened, or right after the reverse split, if the price didn't change, you'd still have the same 300, correct? The answer is yes. So the reason I bring this up is because there's no difference in reverse split. The reason you don't want a reverse split is because you don't want them to get money for more dilution, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to raise
It
money, ask for more shares, blah, 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 the whole deal. They have to go together. Dilution is the fucking problem, you guys.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they ask for more shares to increase the share count or they reverse split. Everyone's going to know that the reason is so they can dilute more. And that's really what is going to push the price down.
Right. You should care about the dilution. You don't want the reverse split, because the reverse split is going to allow them, well, if they're going to dilute, I would rather them do a reverse split than dilute, because they get more money. But it hurts everybody the same. What I'm trying to say is reverse split isn't the problem. The dilution is the fucking problem.
I agree. That's the same thing we said back in 2023, Mediocre. Reverse split is not the problem. You must understand why the price gets pushed down after that is because the company's telling you they need to raise cash, which means dilution. So whatever method they pick when the vote comes, it's going to be the same effect.
The reason why I
All you
bring
have
it
to
up
decide is, do you want to be on board while all of that's happening or not?
I'm just trying to help out BW here and be real with them. Like, your main problem is the dilution. Yeah, you don't want reverse split either, but even if they don't do a reverse split, if they had the shares, they're going to dilute you, and that's going to hurt you.
All right, Mediocre. I think we beat the horse to death tonight.
Yeah.
Look for a GameStop recap video mañana. And if you're in the Discord, we'll be talking about what else I'm trading the rest of this week tomorrow morning. Mediocre, thanks for your time tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining in. Hopefully some of y'all found this helpful. I know some of you are going to be angry. I get it. But
I'm not trying to anger any of
we're
you
trying to
guys.
help you. We're trying to help you.
That's
And
it.
we
I just
want
want
you
to-
and the company both to succeed, but AMC is a tough play until they're profitable, and until box office grows, and GameStop's a tough play until Ryan does something with the cash. So,
But if you don't care, that's your choice, right? You can, it's your money. You do what you want. I personally don't care. I just want you to get the information. That's it.
make your own risk assessment, make your own choices, and then hold yourself accountable. Not these CEOs. They're doing their job. You can choose to participate or not. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step.